We didn't just import a house, we built a complete environment around it. From materials and PCG to vertex paint, lighting, and foliage, turning a simple asset into a realistic scene inside Unreal Engine. Alright friends, if you remember, in this environment we created a leaf falling system and a PCG fence. In this tutorial we want to import this house into Unreal and perform different tasks on it. This house that you see, all of its parts are separated from each other, and the interior sections have been built, including the internal walls. All the pieces are unwrapped and you can use them. I will place into the folder and prepare it for download. As you can see, I import this house into the Unreal and the size and scale is correctly. Now I want to choose a space for it, but in this space I don't wanna trees and I wanna fence around the house. For convenience, I put all of the part of this house into a folder, so I can easily select or deselect them. I create a simple fence because our previous fence was filled with trashes and other things. So I create a simple and I want to prevent the video from becoming too long. I don't add some details for now because I want to create a space for our house. So I create another blueprint and change name to BP Fence 2. In the blueprint, I add a spline, and in the class default, I add a tag for it for our PCG. In the PCG, I add a getSpline data node and set that to all world actors. After that, I type our tag name into the actor section tag. Now we must add spline sampler node. After that, I add a static mesh spawner, and for example, I add a mesh from our previous fence. As you can see, they are not placed at the correct angle, and to rotate them we add transform point node. As you see, the angle is correct. Now we can add another mesh and create a simple fence. In this process we can use the Distance parameter of spline sampler are position parameter in transform point nodes. As you see, the angle is correct. Now we can add another mesh and create a simple fence. In this process, we can use the distance parameter of spline sampler or position parameter in transform point nodes. The problem we have here right now is that we imported the house model manually, and is it not part of the PCG. Because of this, some of the trees have entered in the house. Now I find the trees points and I want to create another blueprint for remove them of the house. Inside my blueprint, I add another spline, but this time I want to use closed loop. And also I set the spline sampler mode to on interior points. Now we have points in the spline, and we can change the parameter for more points or bigger points. We set our spline within the house area so that its point covers the region. Now we can use the difference node and subtract the 3 points from the house points, so that we no longer have the trees inside the house. Alright, for now we leave the PCG section at this point, and I want to move to the building. First, I want to work on our glass, but I don't want to create the glass materials because it would take a lot of the time. So I download this asset from Fab Market and assign it to our glass. As you can see, this collection has a wide variety of glasses and we can use them. We can open them and adjust the opacity, their transparency, and so on. Now we can add more apple to it by adding a light inside the house. For the material of our building, we can use ready-made McLescan material, and in their setting we can change the tiling, roughness, normal displacement, or even their tint and adjust them to different colors. But to have a professional material, we need to find matching texture and blend them together. After creating the material, we open it and check the Use Material Attribute option. Now we import our textures and add make material attributes. We create our first parameter and name it to tile amount. Now we need to add the texture coordinate and multiply it with the tile amount. Now we have given the tiling option to our material. Now to also add offset, we need to add node to our material. Now we add append and send it to the B input. We also need two parameters to represent offset X and offset Y. Now we connect the output of the add to the input of all of the UVs. Now for the normal, we need a normal flatten and create a parameter so that in the future we can adjust the normal in the material instance. Next, we connect the R output to roughness, the G output to ambient occlusion, and the B output to displacement. Next, to organize and group our parameters, we need to create groups for all of them and assign numbers to them in sort priority so they stay in their proper order. Finally, we take an output from the material attributes and assign a name to each material. Now we add the blend material attribute and assign the order of our materials to it. For its alpha, we use vertex color. Now we can create a material instance from our material and activate all the features. Now we can go to modeling menu and use the paint vertex color feature to paint on our model and have combination of material and surface. I created a material for building roof in Substance Designer with two versions, normal and damaged, which you can use. We can copy from the previous material and just replace them with these new textures. As you can see, the new problem we ran into the rotation of the textures. So we need to create a system in the material for texture rotation. What we need to do is add a custom rotator to the texture coordinate and also use a value for the rotate angle. We can also, for important elements like the entrance door, create a texture in Substance Painter. And using the available generator and effects there, achieve the most suitable texture for it. Now to improve the scene, I worked a bit on the light inside the buildings. And also I paint some water on the asphalt of the street. To cover the emptiness of the trees behind the building, we can use copy point in PCG, and also we can use create points grid node to create points around of the trees. And we can replace those points with meshes such as plants, rocks or anything. We can add a lot of more details, but as you can see the video has become long and we need to finish it as soon as possible. We can also use foliage and cover the area the house with plans that we downloaded from Megascan. I will show these parts to you quickly because they do not need much explanation. By adding decals, we can remove the uniformity from the textures. You can also add another layer to your material to create some dirt in corners and or in areas where it meets the ground, so that is has a better look and feel. From now on, there is no need for much explanation. We just need to add more details to scene, including pieces, meshes, or other lights to make the scene better. Alright friends, as you can see, we are close to the end of the tutorial. We could have add some much more details, but because the time of the video, we avoid them. If this tutorial was useful for you, please support our channel with like and comment. You can also help the growth of this channel with financial support.